Check on your nearest podcast, bro, folks, because I promise you, he's not doing well. And that's because your grandma is finally sick of your grandpa's shit.
Let's talk about grey divorce. What is grey divorce? Is divorce done after you're 50 years old? And I feel like this particular divorce can happen when two people are living together for so long, when the children are no longer with them anymore, then they realize how much they cannot stand their partner. Most of the time, some women stay in a relationship, they stay in a marriage just because of their children. And the moment the children leave, because your children will not stay, they will not stay with you forever. So the moment they start going to their separate place, start having their own space, or start having their own family, or start doing their own business, or have their own house, they're not staying with you anymore. You start seeing your partner for who they are, and this can lead to divorce in the later age. And this is what they call grey divorce. Have you heard of this grey divorce? What's your take on grey divorce? Do you think that since you've actually struggled to be with the person for so long, why do you want to divorce later on? Why can't you just endure since you're already getting old? And you know what people say? People like saying that they love seeing two old people together because they've been together for so long. And some people actually glorify the amount of years that you've spent with your partner than the quality of years you spent together. What is your take on grey divorce? That's a conversation we are having in today's video. Let me go ahead and roll some clips for you all to watch to the end, and I'm back to share my thoughts at the end of the video.
Check on your nearest podcast, bro, folks, because I promise you, he's not doing well. And that's because your grandma is finally sick of your grandpa's shit. Have you guys heard of this new phenomenon called grey divorce, aka a divorce between anybody who is 50 years and over, middle-aged and up? Apparently, not only is divorce rising amongst this demographic, but according to Google AI, that I didn't ask for, but it's there and I use it now, baby boomers have the highest divorce rate. Highest. You know the motherfuckers who are always lecturing us about everything. They have the highest divorce rate. Guess who has the lowest? Millennials, stand up. In 1990, 8.7 marriages amongst people over 50 ended in divorce. Not even 10%. By 2019, that number that's pretty much quadrupled, baby. 36%. Researchers also noted that people over the age of 65 are the only age group with growing divorce rates. It's bad and it's only getting worse, folks. So what's contributing to these grey divorces? Well, first and foremost is empty nest syndrome. Basically, now that the freaking kids are gone, okay, and you're not 1000% distracted by the literal everyday mundane tasks that's required to take care of children, y'all got a lot of time alone with each other, and now you're looking at each other and you realize, I don't think I like this motherfucker. You're no longer distracted by the pitter patter and the drama and all the stuff that goes along with having kids. And now you realize you hate your partner. Of course, there's the age-old financial issues, but the difference here is that this beef is happening because of retirement finances. Yeah. You done spent 30 years with this motherfucker. You're ready to wrap it up, close things off, and head into the sunset. And then you realize this motherfucker's trying to steal your shit. You realize that you two are on two completely different pages when it comes to how y'all want to retire. Cheating is always going to be on the list. But you know what I think is interesting about this? I bet a lot of these marriages that dissolve after 20, 30, 40 years because of cheating, I bet you that the partner who was cheating, probably the guy, was cheating the whole entire duration of the marriage. And that after the kids grew up and left, empty nest syndrome, after y'all retired and had more time to be around each other, you finally got sick and tired of being cheated on and said enough is enough. And then here comes one of the big ones, health issues. Usually, if it's the woman who gets sick as she ages, or in general, by the way, usually you hear healthcare workers talk about this. It's usually expected that the husband gonna leave. He gonna leave. And I love how they accounted for that in this article. Studies reported a higher divorce risk if the wife develops a chronic illness, whereas men who become disabled or ill do not face the same level of risk. Of course, because women were gonna stick it till death do us part only really applies to the women, the property in the relationship. Of course, growing apart. And then I think these two are probably two of the most important reasons why. Number one, changing expectations. We have shifted the societal expectations for marriage, as this says more to emphasis on how a relationship makes you feel versus how they function for your life and survival. Back in the day, it was way more common for people to tell you to suck it up if you were having issues in your marriage than to tell you to motherfucking leave. And nowadays, we're like, get your shit and go. And finally, societal changes. We are no longer stigmatizing women who are not getting married or who are divorcing. We are no longer stigmatizing women the way that we used to. So all the people in your life who would have been judging you and pressuring you to stay in this shitty ass relationship, they're all fucking dead. Okay? And the new crop of people, us, we're like, if it doesn't make you happy, why the frick are you there? Also, women gaining financial independence. Yeah, big reason why a lot of these relationships are ending, because they don't depend on your ass no more. They're not trapped anymore. They can get free. And of course, life expectancy has increased. So you mean to tell me I done retired at 70, empty house, empty, and now I might could have another 2 decades of life, maybe even 3 with this loser? Yeah, cut. What do you think of this new trend of the rise of older people getting divorced? Boomers having the highest and rising divorce rate. As a child of a gray divorce couple, I wholeheartedly 100% support this and love this, especially for all of the women who are the ones who are filing for divorce, which we know divorce is filed by women much more than it is by men. So this is mostly older women. If you really think about it, this is really a movement of older women saying enough is enough. I don't want to deal with this motherfucker no more.
So I guess you could put that lack of commitment too under lack of commitment, but this is sort of what we're seeing at the firm with the gray divorces, and then obviously domestic abuse should be its own category at 24%.
Now, when we're thinking about, these marriages and these stats, and you just refer to like the gray area of marriages, people that are divorcing after 50. And I know in other generations, people were married for years. So now are we getting to, and, this is, in this mindset, and this is kind of like a follow-up question. Do you believe or think that we're getting into more like a superficial stage when it comes to marriage? We're not getting too in depth. We're looking at just surface issues. So you've been married for 20 years and you realize, well, maybe we've grown apart. Maybe the finances are not there. Maybe there's a few other things that are occurring that I can no longer deal with. But you've been in this situation for 20 years and no longer want to give the energy for it to continue. So would that be looking at the situation superficially? I know that's kind of opinionated, but right. Just from some of the conversations that you heard, especially people that's been married 20, 25 years that's separating, it sounds like it's kind of superficial. Like you put all this energy in and now you're walking away.
I hear what you're saying.
What divorce trends are you seeing right now?
I'm seeing with the gray divorce, I'm seeing that, well, the divorce rates, in my experience, is much higher with the gray divorce. So you're seeing like baby boomers, that general generation, you're seeing very high rates there. And I think in large part because they're starting to discover that they don't need or want to be unhappy. They're tired of just sticking it out, right? Yeah. And for many, this is a new phenomenon because it's always had that stigma. There's religious, social stigmas too, and even like familial. We shouldn't do that. Nobody in our family gets divorced. That sort of thing.
I feel like that's the generation that really grew up with the parents who like stuck it out no matter what, and
That's right.
so looked down and frowned upon divorce. And then the generation just past the baby boomers, which is us, is really like, we're allowed to take control of our own lives, but they're in that like iffy period.
Yeah, well, that's true. And I mean, I'm seeing, again, I think they're just discovering that. They're just discovering that they can have that happiness, that their whole life they've been told that, well, you just stick it out. You don't divorce. Nobody divorces. Why would you want to do that?
When it comes to great divorce, who is going to benefit more? Is it the man or the woman? I can't tell. Can you tell? Can you put your thought down in the comment section? I feel like this great divorce is like you lying to yourself for a very long time. You cannot keep lying to yourself forever. The moment you start realizing how you cannot stand this person and you're staying because of children, time will tell. Because sometimes when you hear some people say, I am staying because of my kids, I don't want my kids not to have a father, I don't want my kids not to know their dad, or maybe they don't have enough finance to take care of their children. But anyway, children is involved. Anyway, when I hear them say these things, I sometimes tell them that, do you know your children will not be with you forever? Like, do you know any of your child can just sick and get unalive at any time, and you're stuck with that partner that you cannot stand? You even see some men would say that I actually don't love my wife anymore, but then my kids are what is still keeping us together. Or sometimes when the kids go for holiday and it is just the man and the woman that is in the house is quiet, there is no conversation, then that is when you realize that you and your partner don't even talk. Is it that you're always busy with one or two things that you enjoy? But when the kids are in the house, you might tend to communicate more or tend to have activities to do together because there are kids in the house. But then the moments when the kids have grown or they're now adults and they've grown to the stage whereby they have to go to their various houses or businesses or family, now you're left with that partner that you cannot stand, the partner that you see every day and there's nothing to talk about. I feel like that is when sometimes some women click and realize that I have actually been wasting my time all these years. Some people will still say, while divorce, when you're at your 50s, when you're in your 60s with your partner, what do you want to gain? And who is going to marry you when you're out there? Who is going to be with you? Or nobody's going to love you since you're already used to this man or used to this woman. Why are you in a relationship? Or why do you want to divorce this person? Why can't you just stay in the relationship till you get unalived? I feel like even if it's just 2 years of your life that you think that you can use to recover over 40 years that you've wasted, go and have it. I saw an interview of a woman. She said she's 80 something years old, and they were asking her that what is your greatest regret in life? And she was like, getting married, choosing my husband. I married early. I did that. Like, it was all about marriage and all of that. And I think she said she's single now and she's enjoying herself. I also saw some interview of two older women talking and saying that they enjoy living together now compared to when they were living with their partner, that they had to divorce their partner. So that little years you have for yourself, I feel like it's good for you to enjoy it with yourself or whoever you want to enjoy it with, than saying that, oh, since I just have few years to live now, I don't have I've lived more than half of my years in this world. Why should I have to go through the stage of divorce and all of that? I feel like this is the best time for you to just leave, because so that you can enjoy the remaining years and feel how happiness can be. Because to be honest, most women are not happy in their relationship. Most of our parents are not happy in their marriages, but then they cannot leave because they deceive themselves and say that they are staying for the kids. But now the kids are no longer there, and now they still keep complaining and they're not leaving. I won't be surprised if our parents are divorcing and all of that, because at the end of the day, the kids that you're staying in for are no longer there, and now you're stuck with your partner that you cannot run away from. And then I feel like it's even going to be worse than when the kids were around. Because when the kids are around, you can actually communicate with the kids. You can ignore and might not even have conversation with your partner throughout that day. But then you are in that same space with your partner all day or all minutes or, you know, of course, that period, both of you are not actually going to work. You might have retired. So you are actually literally in your space, right? Both of you are in each other's space. And now there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing fun you both of you can do together. It can be tiring. And I feel like the best thing is just to divorce, because at the end of the day, both of you has raised kids together to an adult stage. What do you think about great divorce? I feel like if it's just 2 years you have left for your life and you feel like the partner, you don't want to spend your remaining 2 years with that man, please leave, because that is it. What is your take on today's conversation about great divorce? How is it? And I heard it's rising, and is people are now realizing why they should have left earlier, and now is rising. Like, that is the highest divorce rate so far, according to research. Anyway, what is your take? And kindly share your thought down in the comment section respectfully. It's raining outside, hence the noise. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe. And turn on the post notification bell to get notified once I upload another interesting video. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.